Okay, so we've got the V4R ready to do some pulls on the dyno. We're getting ready to see exactly where we are with our new tuning. What we've done is we've started off with just an up map, and there is a full Termi exhaust fuel and ECU tuning map that we've just loaded on there. It's really easy. You just use an app through your phone, and we've done this today because we just don't have enough time to do everything else. We're literally about to leave for the track in about an hour, so we're just going to put this thing on the dyno, do some part throttle stuff, do some testing, and then do some full throttle pulls and see how much power it makes. So we'll see where we're at. As long as everything is at least safe and it feels smooth and rideable, we're just going to roll with it and see where we end up. So let's see what it makes. Alright, so you've seen the pulls. The bike sounds 100% better, I must say. And I also want to show you guys something. We actually had a small change just before going with this. Of course, we're going to have to tidy all this up, but we got this in. This is something that we've been interested in trying because we've heard that the stock shift sensors on these bikes were not the best. And so we basically switched this to a Translogic proper strain gauge quick shift sensor. And it's a fully plug-and-play unit, as you can see here, which makes it really nice, and it even comes with a little adapter if you need to reverse the polarity of the sensor or make it a reverse shift sensor. This kit actually works fine with the standard polarity, but should you for some reason need to change that, it actually does come with a little adapter that goes in between here and corrects that. That worked great. So moving on, let's take a look at the results. One thing we noticed is with this mapping, we're only revving to around a little over 15,000 RPM. So I think that we're going to try to bump that up, find a way if we can edit that through up map, or if not, then we're just going to do it through our own ECU calibration tools once we get back, but there's for sure more power to be had. Anyway, let's get right to it. This is the before and after. One thing you're going to note, and as a matter of fact, I'm just going to take torque off here. We did not hook up RPM for this test because we just don't have time. And you have to remove the fuel tank to access this in an easy way. So you're going to see that these graphs are really, you shouldn't compare the way one looks versus another in terms of at a given area, because they're really not directly overlaid. This is a speed axis at the bottom instead of an RPM axis, which is really what you would want to have to properly see how much more power it's making at a given point. This is truly just to see the peak power differences. And what we have is a starting horsepower of 178.82. Here we've got a final number of 196.93. So we've gained almost 20 horsepower. Actually right at 18. And again, you can see looking here that the thing is pulling all the way until it stops. And we have really another 1,000 RPM potentially. So I feel that if we can extend that rev limit, we are going to easily break 200 horsepower at the wheel. Which, I mean, everyone knows these things are animals, but for a completely stock engine with a slip-on, eliminating exhaust, and basically just a free-to-the-public ECU flash, pretty damn impressive. Something else that we'll point out is the fueling is on the rich side, so there's certainly a few horsepower in correcting that. Let's just take a look here. Yeah, you can see it's not horrible, you know. Yeah, right there it is though. I mean, really at where it's making peak power, it's at 12.3 AFR. We would certainly pull some fuel out of that area and I would expect to see at least a few horsepower from that. So that's where we're at. We're about to go to a private event at the racetrack. It's going to be a little tricky because I don't think we're not supposed to be filming or taking photos while we're there, so it's a little different. And we're supposed to be leaving very soon, and we still haven't even loaded up the trailer, so it's going to be a little bit of a crazy day. Our goal, though, is to try to sneak some video footage from this test and show you a little bit of that. And we're also going to take the trusty ZX-10R, our Superbike. We want to do a little more testing on it. We're going to try out these new forks. So hopefully we can sneak some camera footage in and show you a little bit of that. But I think that's going to be that for this video. If we have time, we'll bang this thing out, and I'll edit it up and give you a quick something to watch and get excited about. Or if not, maybe we'll just wait, and he might have some track footage and some testing video. It's going to be sneaky. If nothing else, we'll record some stuff inside the trailer so nobody can see us. So thanks for watching. I think that's going to do it for this one. We'll see you next time. Okay, so we're here at the racetrack, and unfortunately the testing for the V4R has not gone as expected. We've already had a failure really early into our V4R test, so unfortunately it's going to be done for the weekend because we definitely don't have the stuff to fix it. So we'll go over here and kind of show you how everything looks. Another thing that we found is this exhaust is really a boot slayer. We're going to have to come up with a solution to that. I'm really kind of surprised. I guess we should have kind of figured that out by sitting on it, but yeah, that's absolutely destroying the boot, and I mean really there's no way around that. So we'll try to see if we can come up with a some kind of heat shield or something to put on this until we get our other exhaust. Anyway, onto the failure. What's happened, and you can see here, this is our clutch reservoir, is that's completely empty. The reason that happened is because the seal behind the slave cylinder failed. So basically, once we pull the slave cylinder off the back of the shop, we're going to find that there's a bunch of clutch fluid back there. So unfortunately, that's the end of that. It's impossible to get in and out of the paddock without a functioning clutch, so can't do anything with that. So for now, we're just going to keep riding the ZX-10R. One thing I can report is that the FGR 250 Superbike forks, speaking of clutches, sorry, that guy was having a hard time getting going, it sounded like. Anyway, the FGR 250 Superbike forks are working really well. I am actually kind of surprised. Well, I shouldn't say surprised, but we're used to running these World Superbike spec forks that are, again, well over double the cost. And my expectations of the FGR 250 were a little on the low side. And that was probably foolish of me in retrospect because it's still a Superbike fork. It still has the same type of cartridge, just a production version of it. It's working really well. It feels awesome, actually. So we used a setting that's very similar to what we use in our Superbike, World Superbike fork, and comparable oil level. It's not quite the same, but it's the effective equivalent, and I haven't touched a clicker. It's just working really nice. So unfortunately, that's going to be it for the V4R track test. I think we have another event in about 2 weeks that we're going to try to make, and hopefully by then we can have this thing fully sorted. What we're going to do is replace the slave cylinder anyway. We already ordered one, we just don't have it yet. It'll be a good opportunity to resolve that. We may upgrade the clutch master as well. I'm not sure about that yet, but either way, I'm sorry we don't have any on-track footage. The bike did feel nice and fast. The couple laps we did, we only got 5 laps before this happened, so it was really just the start of things. Frankly, we were just focusing on ergonomics and the little stuff before we even got into setup, so maybe next time. All right, so we're back from the racetrack, which, as I mentioned, for the Ducati was basically a bust. Had our failure immediately. But what we are going to do is, before we wrap this video up, is do a weigh-in. Everybody's been asking how much the bike weighs now, so we're about to find that out. And also, I wanted to show you guys one other thing that we definitely need to address, which is this exhaust. It's an absolute boot killer. I may have mentioned this already at the track. I don't remember, but something we're going to try to do is make a heat shield out of carbon fiber or something to go right there and hopefully address that, because right now, I mean, it is really impossible to keep your foot off of that, and it's crazy hot, obviously, so it's just melting the boot at a very fast pace. So next, what we're going to do is pop this back on our same intercom scales, and we'll see how much the bike weighs. Oh, that's no time. Let's pull it back there. Yeah, there you go. I'll put my foot in front of this. Okay, so we're about to roll the bike on here. It's kind of hard with a two-man job here. Okay, there we go. All right, nice. And just try to balance it as best you can. Okay, so new weight is now 397 with 212 in the front, 185 in the back. Don't remember what the original weight was, but we'll compare. All right, so now we know how much the V4R weighs, and next all we have is we're going to put this upgraded slave cylinder once it comes in, hopefully later this week, and then we're going to start testing out some of our other ECU tuning options. We have already a custom-based a custom-tuned ECU map that we're going to flash ourselves using an actual ECU tuning tool. And then we think we may be able to get another special map for the up map. We're going to see about that, and if so, we'll test that as well. So I think that's going to do it for this video. We really appreciate you guys watching our channel, and if you like what you see, be sure to like this video and hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.